What's up, folks? Khalid Bey. A lot of interesting dialogue about the Super Bowl that happened this past weekend, more particularly the halftime performance. Makes for a good discussion. It's what we'll be talking about today, but also I sent out a video earlier in the week saying that there'll be changes to the show. Those changes will be that I'm adding a co-host to the show. You'll get to meet him today. But without further ado, let's talk. Welcome to Let's Talk, Khalid Bey.
Rob Romeo here.
And today we are talking about, Rob said he want to talk about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was so excited for it for the last month. I was hoping our Buffalo Bills would be there, and I live and die with Josh Allen and the Bills. And, all the talk about him and the MVP thing. I'm so happy he got that,
That's cool.
Well deserved. You got to think about how they evaluate the MVP. And what does that really mean? There's all kinds of, is it the best stats? Is it the most yards, the most touchdowns? Or is it the person who brings the team, the most important person that brings their team the farthest?
It has to be centered on team impact.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so I think that Josh Allen was well deserved this year. Yeah. So then last night came and it was the Eagles and the Eagles and the Chiefs, and wow, that was an amazing game, wasn't it?
It was. I am a Dallas Cowboys fan. Watch yourself. And so anytime Dallas is not in the game, which is a lot lately, I have to root for the NFC East. So
there you go.
Whether it was Washington or Eagles, that's what I was going with. The Eagles got there. Yeah. Turned out the way I wanted it to.
Yeah, I kind of always liked the Eagles growing up. I went to a little grammar school, and our mascot was the Eagles.
Yeah.
And I went to Boston College, and that was
Eagles.
The Eagles.
Okay.
So I was always like, Eagles, and I'm East Coast too. Right. I go with the Bills, and then the Giants and the Jets, and then the Eagles. And the Patriots. I'm always East Coast first.
Northeast, right?
Yeah.
But last night, first of all, the Eagles were. It's funny. I was watching a video of Mahomes talking after the last Super Bowl they played against the Eagles 2023. He almost prophesied the return of the Eagles and the fact that they would be tough.
Really? What did he say?
Because he was praising Jalen Hurts' performance and how he essentially almost brought them back, 3 touchdowns on the ground, that kind of thing.
Right.
And man, he nearly prophesied his game, but I'm
pretty
sure.
If it wasn't for that one fumble the first time, 2 years ago,
I
think the Eagles probably win that game.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So that's interesting.
I don't think he expected this kind of margin.
No. I tell you, there was some good, classy moments last night that I was really happy to see. Jalen Hurts was great afterwards, putting it all on the team. Yeah. Saquon putting it all on this offensive line.
Yeah.
And obviously, the defense was unbelievable. But even Patrick Mahomes, he went down through the line and congratulated all his players. As they went off, he wasn't pouting. He was just, said, "This is what happens sometimes, guys."
It's hard to do something 3 times in a row.
Yeah. That's why there hasn't been one.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been one. And that defensive front 4 was insane.
Yeah.
You talk about watching film and having a game plan. They had his number picked. Mahomes is still a problem. Yeah. Anytime he's on a scramble, he's one of the best, him, Brady, a couple others, and knowing where to put that ball to avoid interceptions. But it looked like the Eagles planned for it. They know he throws low.
Yes.
And they were there every time.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
Boy, those 2 interceptions were right at the ground.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
going back to my Bills, I wish that tight end made that catch. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
You're exactly right about all that. So that was good. And then they put on a halftime show, and they had President was in attendance, first time ever.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, and the Taylor Swift moment. So what do you think?
Well, I was cracking a joke about what would Trump and Taylor Swift do if they pass in the hallway. But in terms of the halftime show, quite the storm on social media about whether people thought it was good or bad and that kind of thing. I will say I thought it was interesting.
Yeah. You have to say interesting.
It was interesting. A lot of people were looking for or expecting what would normally be the spectacular performance, the lights, the glam, a lot of people, that kind of thing. I thought Usher did a good job last year.
Yeah.
You think about some of the big ones, Prince, Michael Jackson, many others who performed at halftime. This one, though, has sparked quite the debate. So much so that you have people on Facebook now saying they're not like us, but what they're referring to is the people who missed the message.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
It was definitely a message there.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like, if this makes sense, this is just my perspective, it didn't seem like Kendrick Lamar cared about performance.
Yeah.
He was there to deliver a message.
Yeah, it was very focused on that. Yes. And I thought it was artistic.
Yeah.
It really was artistic. I think that where it gets away from mainstream a little bit is that in general, I said the main pop culture, the whole wide swath of musical interest is hip hop is a segment,
right?
Right. And it's and he won everything at the Grammys this year,
yeah.
So it's an important segment, no question about it.
Yeah.
And he delivered on that segment.
Yeah.
But there's just so many people that don't understand.
Yeah, and I think that was part of it. It was clear. I thought the Samuel L. Jackson inclusion was intelligent.
Yes.
And even his commentary leading, not only being suggestive of certain things that may have been said about Jay-Z involvement with planning the halftime show,
Mm-hmm.
The constant reference to his ghetto, that kind of thing, which is why Samuel L. Jackson cracked that joke. But the obvious message, or not, more appropriately, the not so obvious message, there were at least double and triple entendres where he was saying something that had 2 or 3 different meanings.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously, the feud with Drake,
yes.
which was...
you had to know what was going on with that.
I think a lot of people don't understand. So let me explain it to you for the many that don't understand.
Yeah.
Hip-hop has always been a full contact sport.
There you go.
You have to understand that.
That's why we're here.
It's always been about the competition and the battle. In the back of the days, it didn't have the antagonism that led to violence, right? Back in the days, you take your licks, you go write a better rhyme, you come back better. I think because of commercialism and a lot of things and misunderstanding, it involved a lot of people pulled the streets in with them, and it's so.
Yeah.
In recent years, it got a little bad, even as recent as last year. But other than that, it's a full context, but it's always been competition. And Drake did something that has never been done ever. He sued over a diss record.
Yes.
Yeah, and you just don't do that, Drake.
Right.
So I'm going to say it as a hip-hop connoisseur, as a person who grew up in the hip-hop generation, that makes him a joke. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't care what anybody else say.
Yeah, but that's why I'm here. You say what you say.
It makes him a joke. You don't sue for being, bested in a hip-hop battle.
Yeah.
Especially if you started it. And so the other thing is he went in, not to kind of monopolize the conversation,
No.
He opened up saying that the revolution will be televised.
Yeah.
But you got the wrong person here. And he started out on the Squid Game kind of Nintendo game board.
Yes.
Right?
That was that's the artistic nature of it.
Yeah.
Very, very intelligent, very, viewer, centric. It was good.
Yeah, ever since the attempt to sue by Drake, there's been dialogue with Kendrick and the NFL about him not performing that song.
Yeah, okay.
For concerns of legal repercussions and the like, for alienating the Drake audience, which is a big audience, all those kind of things. And he was essentially being asked to play the game, which is why he started on the keyboard thing, or the joystick thing. But you notice the transition and his symbolism, he took it from the game to the streets. The lamppost, the guys.
Guy on top of the lamppost.
Right,
yeah.
and Samuel L. Jackson, I see you brought your homeboys here.
Yeah.
Was kind of the joke there. And he went into, with his song choice, all of it providing explanations. The funny part was the fact that he had 2 of Drake's ex-girlfriends.
Really?
Yeah, SZA is Drake's ex-girlfriend, and so is Serena.
She was?
Yeah.
I love seeing
they were there.
I didn't know that part. I knew SZA, but I thought the best thing for me was seeing Serena.
Yeah,
because they were doing a little dance. She was different than and she looked great. And she was perfect. I thought she was really good.
Yeah, so it was. I thought that was smart. a little funny.
Yeah.
But it's the competition. Don't cry about the competition. And so, but the message there, just to cut to the chase, he acted as he hit a button, game over. His whole point was, I'm not playing your game. I don't care if you want me to play nice. I don't care what you think should be PC or whatever.
Yeah.
This is hip hop, raw cut, no R&B.
Yeah.
And the subtle message that nobody noticed with the broken flag in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then the people fixing the
back
flag in the end was to say that you alienate, or you, and I'll be candid here, you like our culture but don't like our involvement.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody is more patriotic than an African American who through civil
Yeah.
rights still seek
Yeah.
the American dream,
Yeah.
who through oppression, police brutality and the like, all the things that go on, we still believe in the American dream and we still fight for it despite the circumstances.
Yeah.
There's nothing more patriotic than that.
Yeah.
And that is the message that everybody who wasn't paying attention missed.
And now, because of you, this podcast, I don't know how we're going to reach today, but they'll get it. And thank you for that, because that is a tremendous oversight of what just happened, and how it came out, and that just really solidifies how important that whole thing was.
Yeah,
it really does. And like again, as I said, people are. They'll just automatically turn off just because it's hip hop, period.
Right.
But if you get into the understanding of what's going on, there's so much there.
Yeah, and to that point, Rob, I don't think it's unfair that people wanted entertainment at a sports entertainment event.
Certainly.
I don't think it's unfair.
No, right.
You want to see the normal shock and awe, glitz and glamour.
Yeah.
And then there's the debate, right? Colin Kaepernick. Football is not the place for political statements.
Yeah.
Right? You had that.
But I think the NFL did a really good job when you think about it. And I'll get to this right after. What I want to say is, in particular, this Super Bowl, I think the theme was unity.
Yeah.
If you look at what the NFL put out there, not just what you just described,
right?
How hip hop brings us back together.
That's right.
But it started out for me watching it with Lady Gaga.
That's right.
And that was a whole unity thing. And then they had the unity commercial that they put out there with Brady and Snoop.
Yeah.
Whether people liked it or not, I think they were trying to say that let's use this platform as a unifying entity, and they did. I think as much as possible they did.
I thought they did an excellent job. To your point with Snoop and Tom Brady, so Lady Gaga in the area where the horrific accident, actions taken by the guy, right? Not accident, but terrorism that took place in the French Quarter. To even obviously acknowledging the victims of the helicopter plane crash, and the plane that went down in Philly. All those tragic events, ironically, and certainly unfortunately taking place approaching the Super Bowl. We don't want that much content, right?
Yeah.
But
you don't.
I thought the message of unity was.
But different. You know what? It's there. The NFL, for good or bad or whatever, it is there. I think that if you look at probably, polling and statistics, there's probably a little bit of less, I would just say a lot less people involved with religion these days.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so we're becoming a little less than we used to be,
Right.
People going to church on Sunday.
Right,
There's still a huge group of people that do that still. But the NFL has become the place. It's become the place where we all come together and a common cause and a common thing and enjoy, but also participate in something. And the NFL, I think, is whether you want to be that or not, you have that opportunity to do great things for this country.
Yeah.
And not just this country. What I was looking at before, do you know that the NFL is expanding? Becoming really global. Yeah. More so than anything else, it's becoming a global sport. I was fascinated by the Eagles' first game this year was where?
I know it was overseas.
It was in Brazil. It was in Brazil, and I was like, Brazil. It's like, what? Yeah, Brazil, and they had a huge audience. They went down there before. I was watching some of the pregame stuff,
right?
And they have football leagues in Brazil.
Yeah, they do.
And they're all saying that look,
They
you
play
know, we
American
like
football.
American football
That's right.
even more than our football.
Yeah.
Soccer.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a growing thing,
Yeah.
and they're passionate about it. And so if and I think one of the things that first started me thinking about this on a global level,
Yeah.
I think it was at Christmas or Thanksgiving where Netflix put this out.
Yeah.
And you just don't realize the millions of more people. I mean, 20 million, 30 million more people watched those games, and now the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
because it's international.
Yeah.
Because we're becoming global.
It is indeed the biggest stage.
So the NFL bringing the right, groups together has an opportunity to be a huge, huge force for good and peacemaking. I think.
I think the other thing that many may not understand too, for those who give pushback because they may not, they have an indifference to hip hop music and the like. They know you're still going to tune in.
Yeah.
The fact is, hip hop music has brought a bigger audience.
Yes.
If you put someone else on stage, a lot of those same young people are going to tune out. They are not watching.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that I would guess that that's part of the marketing.
Yeah.
How do you captivate and keep the young people with the TVs on?
Yeah.
They don't change channels. They don't do because they will.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch my son. Depending on what the halftime show is, he'll go find something to eat. It may not come back.
There you go. Yeah. And I think though, to be fair, a lot of people did that. Well, also the game was a bit of a blowout. It was 24-0. So a lot of people, and it gets late. People go to bed anyway.
Right.
So maybe they lost some audience, but Beyonce with her halftime show, that was to me the best one I've ever seen. Yeah. I thought that was fantastic.
It was.
And then last night with what they did, in this one with Kendrick Lamar, you sit there and you watch it, you got to appreciate it. You got to appreciate all of it. And I think it's just a growing, great concern. Just like they said, and it's still there. It's not that it's not there, but the Olympics is a unifying, message of the goodness in human nature, the competitiveness of sports brings us together.
The value of peace, right?
Yeah,
right.
And so we can all compete together. We can all respect each other.
Yeah.
And I think the NFL is becoming a bigger source even. Because it's every week, it's in your face every week, and now twice and 3 times a week.
That's right.
It's going like it. So I guess it just brings one other aspect up that so Trump was there, and so it can't be in any way, shape, or form a MAGA thing,
right?
It can't be, because I know he likes to go to the SEC and he likes to go there and he gets some applause, but there was some boos and there was some applause.
Yeah.
So it can't be a disunifying thing.
Right.
It's got to be a unifying thing. And then people said that there was some booing when Taylor Swift was shown. And I think that really just was Eagle fans who were the dominant group of people there, and they saw her as like, this is fun to boo her because she's there at Kansas City.
Right.
You're going down tonight.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine even the Kansas City fans who may not be fans of her, I can't see them booing her. So
yeah.
So
I think that they got to be careful about Biden, for example, missed the opportunity a year ago to participate in the NFL, which was, I think, missing the Joe Rogan thing. Joe Rogan thing. And Harris not going on with him. That's you got to bring these people together. There's a Pat McAfee show, and there's this and that. You've got to. This is really almost like the preachers of 20, 30, 40 years ago.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they have an audience that makes a lot of sense, and I think everybody's willing to come together on common thoughts and common things that are going to help us all.
I think so.
You can't miss those opportunities. Yeah. Trump didn't miss it, but the Democrats and Biden, they missed it.
Yeah, they missed it. We want to know what you think. Please make sure you like, subscribe, leave your comments, click on the bell, because when you do that, our algorithm improves and it shows up in the feed more often.
There you go.
Rob, any closing remarks? Because I know we're probably at our 25-minute mark.
Just thinking about what we just talked about. I want to close everything with seeking beauty and grace, man.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right. Appreciate you watching. Khalid Bey, Rob Romeo. Let's talk. Catch you on the next one.
See you next time.